let's talk about EMDR. What does it stand for? Eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And kind of a little backstory with it is that, when they first started utilizing it, it was with veterans who were coming home from war and had been through, some pretty severe trauma and had seen quite a few things and were having a lot of flashbacks from the things that they had seen at war. And so what happened over time is they realized, hey, not only veterans go through this, not only veterans experience, very traumatic things. And so they're like, okay, let's use this for the general population too, right? So kind of how it works, is the way I describe it is that, when someone goes to sleep at night and you see their eyes moving back and forth, across like this, what happens during that phase of sleep is that we're processing. And so sometimes when we have traumatic memories that occur, it creates these negative emotions and negative cognitions, such as like, I'm stupid, or I'm not good enough, or I deserved that, or those type of things. And so when the event happens and the negative cognition forms around it, it is stored in the wrong part of the brain. And so when someone is asleep and it's processing, sometimes it's stored in the wrong part of the brain, which, can cause some issues. And so once that cognition is instilled, the negative cognition, then things begin to build on it, right? And all these other things begin to prove too that you're not worthy, you're not worth it, people don't love you, and that kind of thing. So it is useful to reprocess those. So why do we need it? Why do we need to reprocess those things? So to reprocess events that have happened or the negative cognition itself is what will present better things in our current day life. So it'll help us in our relationships. It'll help us in our thoughts about ourselves. It'll help us with these, thought circles that we get into where we can't get out of them. It'll help with the anxiety and depression and just all these things that come from unprocessed trauma. So if you're sitting with me, I'm going to go through a cognition list. I'm going to see what you believe about yourself, and we're going to rate them. And sometimes those change, throughout our sessions together. And then we begin to kind of correlate what events in your life have made you feel that way. And they may be so-called big events, they may be so-called small events. And so then after we've taken some sessions and we have done that, then we're going to take the time to process those. So what does it look like to process those? So I, in my sessions, will ask you to bring up the negative cognition or bring up the memory, and you'll follow my fingers back and forth, or some people like tapping, and I also have a little device called tappers, and so sometimes you'll hold the tappers, and it utilizes a bilateral stimulation, so it mimics what you're doing when you're asleep by going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so it helps to take those things in the brain that were stored incorrectly and put them in the right place so that you don't have to believe that about yourself, or you don't have to have that reaction when something comes up. And if you have flashbacks, then it helps to reduce those and reduce the difficult feelings that are with it. And so whereas when we first start, you might say that is sitting at a 10, it feels very heavy in my body, then by the time we're done, hopefully we'll get it down to a 1 or 0. Everything that we deal with, in our life causes body reactions too. And so we focus on how is that affecting your body and processing that. So EMDR is amazing, and it may not be the right fit for everyone, but I've seen some amazing work with it as well as my own personal life, and I would love to help you, see if that's the right modality for you. I am trained in EMDR, and I've been using it for a couple of years, as well as my own experiences in therapy with it, and I've seen amazing things happen. So if that's you and that sounds like something that would be helpful for you, reach out. Let's see if we're a good fit.